It must be raining somewhere. And not just raining, but raining so heavily. We've already removed our laundry, cleared whatever has to be cleared, because it doesn't warn. It just pours, and pours so heavily. I'm here to talk about my lost love. Guys, I lost my first love. Any girl who is there who was loved by their papa, you know that papa was your first love. That's the man who first loved you and loved you unconditionally. Let me tell you, it was the year 1993. I was in S4. Yes, I was in S4 and I lost my dad. Hey, my world shattered. I didn't know I'd ever pick up the pieces until much later when I was an adult. That's when I should say I healed. It was, he got an accident and most of the people passed on. He survived with a spinal cord injury, and we thought that maybe he can end up in a wheelchair, but that wasn't God's will. I lost my love. I was very close to my dad. Growing up, I thought, funny, that children are raised by fathers, because I grew up, from the time I started understanding, for me it was my father taking care of me. I knew that the role of a mother was to take care of a baby, breastfeed the baby, bathe the baby, but the rest of the things were done by my dad. Because I remember him taking care of myself and my sis who comes after me, and my mom just took care of the baby. Anywho, as I shared in my previous videos, I've already said a lot about my dad. I was homeschooled the first 2 years of my life. Not my life, the first 2 years of school, from 3 years. My dad homeschooled me. I had such a good relationship with my dad. And during the month or a week prior to Father's Day, I will share a lot of experiences with my dad. But for now, Feb being the month of love, and today is 14th of February, I'm going to share about my love. After the death of my father, of course, I was picked from school and I went for the burial, and then I had to go back to school. It was so painful. I would break down, I would cry, and not just cry, I would scream because I never had an opportunity to grieve. When you are home, things of course happen so fast. My mom had little ones. By the time my father died, my mom's last borns are twins. There is no time to start crying around. Relatives, my aunties had lost a brother, a big brother. They were also not so big. My grandma had lost a son, and my father was so friendly. And I mean, there's no time to grieve. Nobody remembers you, the young ones, And because I was so close to him, memories were playing back. I even get so emotional talking about it. Before, I would just break down and cry. Now I'm a little stronger. Yeah, I went back to school, and I think that was the space that I had to grieve. my dad introduced me, in as much as he homeschooled me, we also did a lot of my catechism. My first catechism was from home, and it was from my dad. My dad used to take us to church as little ones, and he would prepare us, give us breakfast, and then we walk to church and back. And during church, during mass, I am Catholic, he would take you through what you're supposed to do, time for kneeling, kneel down, offertory, gun offer, stay quiet in church, the way you had to sit, the poise you had to keep in church. Anyway, so this particular time, we were in the chapel at school, Maryhill High School. We were in church, and they happened to sing a song that was among my father's favorite. My father was so cheeky. He would sing for us, and then he would drum, he would dance, he did all sorts of funny things. He was a comedian. Not that a comedian, an active one, but he was so comic in his ways. They sang that song. It brought back all the memories I could see. Imagine my dad singing, dancing, clapping, laughing, drumming the table, drumming his laps. I couldn't contain it. I rushed out of the chapel. Before I could get out, I was screaming. I ran. Those who know Maryhill, I ran towards the administration block. I cried. I screamed. Dear relatives, when a young one loses a parent, they are grieving too. At that moment, everyone is going through a hard time. Bereavement is so hard. Please remember the young ones. Schools, maybe you can put up bereavement counseling sessions. We need them. I remember 3 of my classmates lost parents shortly after me. That year in my S4, many of us lost parents, and I could feel, I saw how they struggled, but I was like, I'm also going through the same, sorry. Later, when I went back to Maryhill for S5 and S6, when people lost relatives, in most cases it was parents, that's when they would come for you to go for burial. When they came back, you could see they haven't grieved. They haven't grieved enough. I was so friendly, almost the whole school. For us in our school, we were 600, the whole school, S1 to S6, so we literally knew each other. And so I would go, give this person a hug, talk to them, stimulate them to talk. Then they would share their experience. That way, actually, it was healing for me, but I know it was healing for the other party. Imagine I was a counselor already, counselor by making, not just books. So anyway, I lost my love. When I went to university, I'm sure in high school I didn't have enough time to grieve. Besides, when I would go home, home was not even a space to try and grieve. My mother, the grieving was so hard on her. We were so many children with twin little ones, toddlers at that. And being the firstborn, you are literally a second parent. So when I went home, I was the maid, I was another mother, I was, you know what maids do in Uganda, you cook, you clean, you do everything. So by the time I would go to bed, I would be extremely tired to even think about anything. So there was no time to grieve. I could see what my mom was going through, and I had to be her shoulder to lean on. And even for my siblings, you could see they are confused. Later, I will talk about one of my siblings who became addicted to alcohol. And I think it was her way of grieving. Anyway, she's now passed. May her soul rest in eternal peace. But those are the challenges of grieving a parent. And for me, it was not just a parent, it was a friend, and it was grieving love. So when I went to uni, I think I had space to grieve. There was more free time, and then I could easily share it with friends, you know. I could easily talk about it. Now, when I was at uni, I think because I had all the time, the memories poured back from the time I was little. All the time I would be doing something. My father's memories played back. Uni was so hard for me, really so hard. But I met somebody who became a counselor, somebody who gave me a listening ear. Yes, that was my boyfriend, now husband. Something interesting, I think my father was up there watching his little girl going through difficult bereavement. You know what, guys? This young man came as an angel in my life. Yes, let's give credit where it is due. He came as an angel in my life. He would listen to me. I think that's what I needed. I needed somebody to whom I could pour out. We would take walks, we would go sit in gardens, as I have shared in my previous videos when I was talking about my love story. We would go sit and he would just listen. And he's a quiet person. He's a phlegmatic and I am a sanguine, so we talk. So I would talk and he would listen. And guess what? I lost love and I regained love. Like I said, my father must have been up there watching his little girl struggling with bereavement. The boyfriend I got shares a name with my dad. So if I say that was my angel, why shouldn't I? Yes, that was my angel. And interestingly, we dated for so long and it had never crossed my mind that he shares a name with my dad. You know, just later when we were talking about it, I was like, okay, by the way, you share a name with my dad. Guys, schools, please put up bereavement counseling sessions for schools. I'll be happy. I know a child out there will be helped. Yes. All right, guys, allow me to sign out. Bye.